Welcome back to Flutter Code, and we are back in a video. In this video, we will talk about how we can integrate the email OTP system in our Flutter application. So this is our Flutter application. You can see here we have the option for the email ID. So if I click on the continue, it will say required. Now here, if I put any invalid email ID, it will say invalid email ID. So now if I put any valid email ID, snippetcoder@outlook.com. So now if I click on the continue, you can see loader is loading. It will send the OTP. So here we have the screen for verification code. Here we have to add the 4-digit code which we have received in our email ID. So now let's go to our email panel. So for the email, we are just using our fake email, that is Ethereal. So here you can see we are getting the registration OTP. So if I click here, you can see this is the OTP which we receive. So now if I put any invalid OTP here, if I click on the continue, it will say invalid OTP. So now if I put here valid OTP, that is 3759. If I click on the continue, it will say success. That means our OTP system is working perfectly fine. So before starting the video, if you are new to our channel, subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button and click the bell icon to get notified about our latest videos. Thank you. So now we will move further and we will create our Flutter application, and for that we have to go to that folder, that is app folder, cd app. Now here we will create the Flutter application, Flutter create dot. It will create the project here. So here in the application we are going to use one package, that is our own package, that is snippetcoder utils, and we will go to the pubspec. There we will add the package. So now here we will create one folder here and the folder for the models. Inside that we have to create one model file, and that will be used for getting the response from the server when we call our API, and we will name it as a login_response_model.dart file. Here we will create the class here, class login response model. Then we have to create a constructor also, required this dot message. Then we have required this dot data, and we have to create these variables also, late, final, string, message, and we have the same for our data also, data, and this one we can make it as a nullable, and from here we can remove the required. So now here we have to create that one method here, and we will write here login response model dot from JSON, and here we will pass the parameter as string comma dynamic JSON. Here we will map here the variables message is equal to JSON message. Same we have to do here also for the data, and here also we will pass data. And again we have to create one more function here for toString. We will write here map string dynamic to JSON final underscore data is equal to string comma dynamic. Now here we will map the values, data message is equal to message. Then we have data is equal to data, and from here we will return this underscore data variable, and we can remove this underscore also. So here also we have to create one small method, and that will be used for getting the response from JSON. Login response model bracket string str, then call here login model dot from JSON, and we will pass this str, and we have to decode this value JSON dot decode. So what we did here, we have created the model for our login response here. There we have message and the data, and also you can auto generate this file with the help of the online utilities also, but we are in this video we are just doing the manually. Okay, so we can proceed now, and now we have to create the API service file, and here we will create new folder. We will name it as a services. Here we will create a new file, that is API underscore service.dart file. Here we have to create a class here, class API service, and here we have to create one variable static where client is equal to http.client. So now this http we have to import from our package, and we will write here import http.dart as http. Here we have to make it in the caps letter. So now here we have to create two functions. First one is for our OTP login, and second one is verify OTP. And here we have static future and the return type will be in that login response model, OTP login, and we will pass here one variable that is email, and we will make this function as async here. Here we have the URL, where URL is equal to uri.http, and we are using our localhost, and we will pass here the port number also for our API. Then here we have to pass our endpoints. So if we go to our API, you will see the endpoints. Here we have the two endpoints. First one is for the OTP login, and we will paste here. And before that, we have to write here API slash. And before here also we have to put slash here. Now here we will create one variable, response is equal to await client dot post request, because we are doing here post request. Here we have that URL. Then we have the headers. We can pass here one header that is content type application /JSON. Here we have the body, and for the body we will write here JSON encode, and we will create the object here. Inside the object we are passing here only email ID, email, and here we will pass this variable. And from here we have to return that response in this login response model, and for that we will use this method which we have created here, login response model. Inside that we have to pass our JSON, and that will come in our response.body. So what we did here, we have created one function here, and that function will be used for passing that our email ID and getting the OTP in return with the hash also. And we are returning here our response model. So now we have to copy this function and we will paste here. We will change it to verify OTP, and we have to pass here email ID, OTP hash, OTP code, and here we have to change it to this OTP verify. And here in that body we have to pass here email, OTP, we will map it with OTP code, and then we have our OTP hash, we will pass here OTP hash here, and rest of everything will be same here. And what we did in this function, we just create a clone of this method, and there we are just passing our endpoint as a OTP verify, and then we are passing that body as a email, OTP hash, and in the return we are just returning a login response model with that response.body. So now let's move further and we will create our UI, and there we will integrate this API service. So now we have to design our UI, and for that we have to create a new folder here, pages. Then we have to create a new file that is OTP_login.file, and we have to make it stateful widget. We will write here login page. Then we have to create few variables here. First one will be string email, and we will initialize with empty, and we will use this variable for storing our email and user put in the text box. Then the next variable will be bool type of is API call process false, and this will be used for showing the loader and all when user click on the button. Then we have to create a new variables, and that will be our key, global key for our form, and here we will write global key form state, global key is equal to global key form state. And here in the build we will use here safe area. Then we have our scaffold widget. Then we have the body here, and we are using here progress HOD, that will come from our package, and here we have to import it from our package. And here inside that we have our is async call, and we will map this variable here. Then we have the opacity, and we will use a 0.3. Then we have the key, and we will use a unique key. Then we have the child here, and the child we are using here our form widget. And here we have the key, we will use this global key here, and we will map here. Then we have the child here, and we will create our new widget here, and we will name it as a login UI. And here we will click on this create method UI, and here we will return our column widget. And the main access element we are using here center, because we have to show everything in the center. And we will open our emulator also, so that we can see the design side by side also. Before doing that, we have to go to our main.dart file. There we have to remove all the unnecessary code here, and we will remove this one also. And here we will map with our login page. So now we will run our application. Here we will start a debugging. So here the page is opening, but it is empty. So now we will go there, and from here we will add the children's here. First one we will add the image here, image.network. We will pick it from the network. We will put the path here. Here we will put the height 100. Fit we are using here box fit.contain. Here you can see the image is coming here. So here we will use the center widget, so that we can wrap everything in the center. Here we write child and we will close the bracket here. So now you can see here image is coming here. So next we have to put here one text here, and we will write here login with email, and we can do some styling here. Style, text style, font size we are using a 20, and we have to give some spacing in the top. We will put here size box 10, and we will make it bold here, bold. So now again we have to give some spacing here. We will put here, and we will copy this again, and we will paste here, and we will write another line. Enter your email ID. We will send you OTP to verify. And the align we will use here text align dot center, and we will remove here font weight, and the font size we will change it to 15. And here also we will add the constants, and for the text box we can use here form helper dot input field. Now here we have to give the key here. We will write here email, hint text we can use here email ID. Then we have on validate functions. Then we have our on save functions. You can see here the text box is coming, but we can do the design and all. And before that we have to give some spacing here also. And from here we will remove our border radius, and we will change it to 10. Border color we can change it to color dot black color, or we can change it to gray color. Hint text also, if not required, we can remove here. And after that we have to create a button here, and we will write here form helper dot submit button. The text we will put here continue, and here we have that on tap event. Here also there is a spacing issue, we will put here. So now this form is ready. So now we have to connect with our API, and for doing that we have to first assign the value here. We will write here email is equal to on save. Here in the validation also we will write here if, and we will change it to val, and we will call here on validate val is empty. Then we will return here required, and here we have to create one function that will be used for validating the form. We will write here bool validate and save, and here we have final form is equal to global key dot current state, and we will check here if form is validate. Then we will call here form save event, and we will return here true. In the else condition in the default condition we will return here false. So what it will do, it will get the form with that global key, and then it will validate the form, and then once it is validated, that means that there is no validation issue, then it will save the form. So in that case that value will come in this variable, this event will be called, and and also then it will return true, because here we have to call here validate and save. If the form is validated, then only we will proceed further with the API calling and all, else it will be returned false here. So now if I click on the continue, you will see we are getting a required. If I put any value here, if I click continue again, that message will be gone here. So this way that form works. So now here we have to call here set state, and we will show the loader. We will assign the value here API call process is equal to true. So now if I click on the continue, you will see the loader will load. So now the loader is loading, but it is not getting stopped. For that we have to put the same way is API call process is equal to false. That we will do once we get the response from the API. After that we will make this false. So now we will reload the application, and here we will call API service dot OTP login. We have to pass this variable email, and before doing that we will print this variable and see the value is coming or not. Email, we will open our console here. So now if I press continue, it will give required. If I put anything, it will give continue. So now you can see here this value is coming. In the same way we can also validate the email also, and for doing that we have to create small function here, and we have to use here extension method, and here we have to use the extension method this email validator that we will call from our function. And for doing that we will go there, and this is the extension method. You can see here we have extension email validator on string. This will work on any string. Here we will check is valid email, and we are using a regular expression, and we will passing here has matched true or false on the basis of that regular expression. For calling this function, we have to put here one more condition, else if on validate value dot is valid email, and here we will put not. It will be only called when that email is not valid, and we will write here invalid email ID. We will save here and we will reload. So now if I press a continue, you can see here we are getting required. If I put any email invalid, if I click again, so here we are getting the error message because we have to convert it to string. So now let's try if this work or not. So now let's try. Here you can see we are getting an invalid email ID. So now if I remove this one and if I click continue, you will see we are getting here required. That means in this way you can call your validations and all, and once the form is validate, that means the form is very valid. Then in that case this function will be called, that is on saved event. So now here we will call our API service and we will uncomment this one, and here we will put 10. Here we will set the value for our API call process because we got the response from our server. So now we will change it to false here and loader will stop loading, and here we will check if we are getting the response dot, we will change it to response here, and we will call here response dot data is not equal to null. Then we will proceed to our next page, that is OTP verification page. So that we will cover later on. Before that we will call this OTP login method and let's see what response we are getting here. And here we will put any email ID test@gmail.com and we will click on the continue. So here the loader is loading and we got the response here. You can see here we are getting this hash key here, and this hash key we have to send to our verification page, and from here we will run the application. So now what we will do, we will just copy the whole page and we will make a new page for the verification. We will go there and we will create a new page, that is OTP verified dot and we will make it as a stateful widget OTP verification page, and we will copy the whole code from there and we will do the modification later on. First we have to copy this one and we will paste here, and here we have to import the snippet code utils package, and here in the constructor we have to pass two variables. First one is string email, final string OTP hash, and here we will write this dot email, this dot OTP hash, and this one we will change it to OTP code. Rest all will be same here, and this page name we can change to login verification UI. We will paste here, and for the testing we will change this page to OTP verification page, and this image we will change the URL here, and from here we are getting some errors we have to import here, and this one is not required, we will remove here. This one we will change it to OTP code, and this whole code we will comment for the time being. So now you can see this is our second page, and we will change the text here. We will change it to verification code, and here we will change it to enter 4-digit code that you receive on your email, and we can give some spacing from the left and right also. So now it is looking nice, and for this one, for that text box we have to change it to this here code, and we will use here size box to decrease the size here because we have to only put only 4-digit here, and we will change it to size box width 100 and we will change it to 200. Now it's looking better, and here we have to put max length because here if you see we can put anything here of any length. We will change it to max length 4 because our OTP is in only 4-digit, and the type also we can change, and we have to change it is numeric true. Then we will only see keyboard of that numeric only. If we show here the keyboard, we will reload the page here. So now if I press here, you can see here now only we are getting numeric keyboard only, So now if I put here any number here, you can see we are not able to put more than 4. So that means our logic is working perfectly fine here. And here also we will change the code, and here we will import here, and here we will change it to verify OTP. Now here we have to pass email ID. We will pick it from our visit.email. We will put here exclamation sign because that is nullable. Then we have visit.otp hash. Here also we will put exclamation sign, and here we will put OTP code. So now if I go to this method, and we will see there we have email OTP hash, then we have OTP code, and we have email OTP hash and OTP code. And same way we will check here if response.data is not equal to null. That means we are good, and we will put here the message here, whatever the message we are getting from there. We will put here form helper dot, and here we will show the alert dialog. Title we will put here email verification. Response, whatever the response we are getting, we will put here response message. Then we have button text, we will put here OK. And then we have the on press event. We put here navigator dot pop, and we will pass here context. Same way we have to do for our else condition also. And here you can put the logic as per your requirement. Once you get the data, then that means it is OTP success. Then you can redirect user to home page or any other page where you want to send. So now we have to go to our previous page, and from there we have to call this OTP verification page. And here we will write navigator dot push and remove until context. Then here we have to pass the route here, and we are using a material page route. In the builder we have to pass here context, and we have to use here verification page, OTP verification page, and we have to pass the 2 values. Here we have OTP hash, and that we will get it from there response.data. Then we have email, and we will map with our variable email. Now here we have to change it to login page. So now let's reload the application. Let's do the end-to-end testing. Now here if I put here email ID test@gmail.com, if I click here continue, so now we got the response, and user will redirect to our second page. So now let's go to the email and see what OTP we have received there. So here we got the response here. If I click here, you can see this is the OTP, but we will first put any invalid OTP. And if I click on the continue, we are getting error here. Let's see what the issue is. So here we have this variable hash. Also now let's see. So here the variable name is hash, but from there we are sending something different. And here we will go and we will change it to hash here. And let's reload the application. Let's do the process again. If I put here test@gmail.com, if I click on the continue, we are getting error here because we have to reload the server. So now reload again. If I put here test@gmail.com, if I click continue, so now let's see the email. So this is the email. So here first I put invalid. Here I'm getting error. That means we are getting this response from the server, that is error. So now if I put valid here 1647, if I click on the continue, you can see here we are getting success here. That means this OTP is valid because that is what we receive, and that it's matched with the hash value and all. So it means it is working perfectly fine. So this is how you can validate your emails with that OTP and all. So I hope you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe channel, like, comment, share. I will come back soon with another awesome video. Thank you for watching a video.